1, go live.
Hi friends,
1 second. We'll wait for the room to fill. 30 seconds. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. We're just waiting for more people to come online. All right, take it away.
Grassroots part of our program here in Ottawa, showing you and educating you as to what's happening here and giving you the real news.
My name is Roy. I'm with Taking Back Our Freedoms, and we're going to be sharing something very important for all Canadians, an action item that is critical for all Canadians to get involved with if we want to see our freedoms retained. We need to invite you to that call to action.
And my name is Jeff. I'm the operations ground coordinator to support everybody that is here, part of the peaceful demonstration, to make sure they get what they need to stay fed, happy, warm, and comfortable.
Je suis Paul Aubu, camionneur du Nouveau-Brunswick, qui est ici depuis le début pour la partie française.
So you're first.
I'm first. So just to let you know what my role is with the Operation Hug a Trucker, I'm moral support and education. Just to let you know what's happening here in Ottawa, we have a whole bunch of 3-foot short people running around on bouncy castles, sparklers, fireworks. The weekend is full of activities, multiculturalism. The beauty about this whole movement that resonates with me most is that
Ce qui s'est passé, les amusements qui ont été mis en place toute la fin de semaine, c'est la responsabilité de Raven, puis elle fait une bonne job. Et le capitaine de l'Est, elle vient de Newfoundland, puis elle apporte tous ses talents avec nous autres.
Thank you. So in the next upcoming days, we're going to try to educate the community and followers about the safety and effectiveness of the vaccines, that it's not one size fits all. Right now we're up to almost 1,000 people that have lost a loved one or is majorly struggling from side effects of these vaccines. So we're going to be doing a war memorial.
Dans les prochains jours, on va faire beaucoup de lobbying pour faire comprendre l'autre version du vaccin, qu'il y a eu 6 000 personnes qui ont été affectées par ça, qui ne se passent pas, puis on veut porter attention et avec amour.
And on that day, we will be placing flowers and candles to have a vigil for the lost lives. Class doctors and scientists with heavy accolades to educate that it's not a one-size-fits-all and to have the option is mandatory.
On va être assisté par des professionnels de la santé, des docteurs, qui vont expliquer les côtés de ça, que le vaccin, c'est pas une grandeur qui fait à tout le monde, comme qui se dit en anglais one size fits all, mais c'est que il faut que ça aille, c'est plus que ça.
So if anybody would like us to add you to the families, you can send an email to freedomconvoy05@gmail.com and we'll ensure that your information is placed with the families that we already have.
S'il y en a qui veulent suivre avec nous autres, vous pouvez passer par email. C'est l'email. C'est l'email again.
Email
Freedom Convoy.
Freedom Convoy 05
@gmail.com.
Freedom Convoy 05
@gmail.com.
05 or 05?
05. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to pass everything over to my friend Roy here on how we can all play an active role in the future of our country.
Et on va passer la parole à Roy qui va continuer à expliquer les détails de nos procédures.
Thank you. Very quickly, we're going to be talking about the Prime Minister's invocation of the Emergency Act that took place yesterday, once called the War Measures Act, and what it means and what we need to do in response to it.
Tout ce qu'on va parler, c'est l'acte de guerre qui a été présenté en Chambre hier par le Premier ministre, puis qu'est-ce qu'on a besoin de faire pour faire tomber ça.
The Emergency Act gives the Prime Minister extreme powers, virtually dictatorship powers, instantly, but there is a requirement for parliamentary approval within 7 days.
c'est que cet acte de guerre-là donne extrêmement un grand pouvoir au premier ministre. Puis, mais il y a des façons, des étapes à faire avant que ça s'aille passer. Puis c'est ça qu'on va vous dire qu'il faut qu'il s'aille fait. On peut emmener des idées.
He's going to be counting to see if he has the votes. The moment he has it, he will immediately take action to get approval from Parliament.
Il va vérifier avec tous les parlementaires, les MP, les membres, puis aussitôt qu'il va sentir qu'il peut faire passer, il va passer au vote. Ça fait que...
So we need to get on the phone tonight, tomorrow. We need to get immediately in touch with our members of Parliament, and every single one of them put maximum pressure on them to vote against the continuance of the emergency.
Ça fait qu'il faut embarquer sur les téléphones, les emails, tout le monde partout au Canada, envoyez-les à vos représentants fédéraux tout de suite, à soir, demain matin, il faut que ça soit fait. Il faut lui demander qu'il vote contre cette résolution-là que le premier ministre a proposé, l'état de guerre.
Now, you might say, I don't know who might, ourcommons.ca/members. So go to the government, there's a website, you just type in your postal code. Again, www.ourcommons.ca/members. And if you /EN, you get English. If you /FR, it's French, I think, right? So, yeah, that's where you go.
Fait que si vous ne savez pas qui est votre député ou vous voulez avoir le contact, vous pouvez aller sur Internet à www.ourcommons, c'est ourcommons.ca/members, des membres, MEMBERS, / en français ça va être FR. Puis vous allez avoir la liste avec les contacts.
So this is important. You need to call them, both the constituency office and parliamentary office. 2 phone calls and an email. And you need to make sure you get through to a person and talk to them.
C'est bien important que vous faites des téléphones à leurs offices, puis le parti que ça voudra, parlez à vos députés fédéraux, dites-leur le message.
Now there's a lot of people viewing that are not Canadian. I have a call to action for you as well. What you need to do is make a phone call to the local Canadian embassy or consulate. Express extreme concern of dictatorial actions being taken place here in Canada. We need you to rally for us as Canadians.
Il y a eu des téléphones de l'extérieur du pays. Il faut que des gens qui sont concernés par ça, qui appellent à l'ambassade, puis qui expriment leurs inquiétudes à propos de ça. Gênez-vous pas toutes, il y a des ambassades canadiennes partout. Ceux-là qui sont à l'extérieur, appelez à votre ambassade canadienne, faites vos inquiétudes, dites-leur qu'il ne faudrait pas que ça passe pour nous autres, les Canadiens.
I noted today that in New York at the consulate, the Canadian consulate, there were a large number of protesters there. Calling your MP, your member of parliament, there's a few things that you need to know, and I'm just going to say to you, if you want the detail of this, there's going to be a webcast in just a very short time, tbof.ca, and on that webcast we're going to give you talking points, so that if you want to be a little more educated, go to tbof.ca. There's going to be a webinar, webcast at 9 p.m. Ontario time.
Si vous voulez avoir plus d'éducation sur le sujet, vous pouvez aller sur un site tbof.com.ca à 9h
Tonight, 9 p.m.
Ce soir à 9h p.m. à l'heure de l'Ontario.
So just as an example, we're going to help people understand that there's certain conditions under which the emergency measures are allowed to be declared. So for example, Section 3 of the Emergency Act spells out the circumstances.
l'acte de guerre qu'il veut mettre en place, dont le numéro 3 qui est Emergency Acts, qui met la vie en danger des citoyens. Puis c'est expliqué d'aller voir d'autres, là, mais il y en a une que c'est ça, puis automatiquement, vous voyez bien que la vie de personne est en danger ici.
The other possible reason is a national emergency that seriously threatens the ability of the government of Canada to preserve its sovereignty.
It's when you got me. Say it again.
A national emergency that seriously threatens the government of Canada, its sovereignty of the government of Canada.
C'est que l'autre condition qu'il y a dedans, c'est que ça dérange, que ça peut traiter, que ça peut être dangereux pour la citoyenneté.
We need everybody across Canada, of course, from Quebec and New Brunswick, every French-speaking, every English-speaking, so we appreciate that you're here and so much.
Right.
But this is a fact. Neither of these conditions are being met.
Il n'y a pas une de ces conditions-là qui a été rencontrée et qui a voté l'acte de guerre. Il n'y a pas de raison possible que ça passe.
And so there's accusations, false accusations against the truckers here in this city. I don't think I have to say any more than it's been one thing after another that is 100% the opposite of the truth.
Il y a eu beaucoup d'accusations qui sont pas vraies, qui ont été faites contre les camionneurs dans la ville. Il ne veut pas en parler plus longtemps parce que depuis qu'on est ici, c'est ça qui se passe. On a été traités de terroristes et de tout ce que vous voulez. Puis les gens sont libres. Puis il n'y a rien de ça qui est arrivé.
So those are the practical points, that there's no basis. If you look at the rules for invoking the emergency, there's no basis for an emergency. And this place here is the opposite.
Tout le monde est bien relax. Les gens circulent. Samedi, dimanche, il y a eu une foule énorme. Il n'y a pas arrivé un incident. On est là, on surveille, nous autres mêmes, c'est ça le mot d'ordre, la paix, l'amour, le respect. C'est ça qu'on fait, ça fait qu'il n'y a aucune raison de quoi ce qu'il fait là, d'appeler ça, à part que vouloir gagner son point.
So I want to encourage everyone, spread the word. You can come on to tbof.ca and watch the webcast at 9 p.m.
On invite le monde à parlez-en partout, envoyez-le par les réseaux sociaux, par téléphone, partout. Donnez l'explication, venez sur le site de CBOF, venez chercher l'information. S'il y a d'autres choses, ben, on va communiquer encore. Mais c'est très important du moment actuel à demain qu'il faut que vous faites des téléphones, email, s'il vous plaît.
We need not just thousands, we need millions of Canadians making phone calls. Okay. Thank you very much. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff for final comments. And I heard that there's still peace in the city.
Well, we stand united. I don't see anybody running in chaos out of here right now, so I agree with that. Perhaps maybe we'll see if there's any questions before we close.
I'd like to ask if, Jeff, if the morale of the guys is strong. I sense that it was today, but if you could give us an insight.
Well, the guys, the girls, the families, the children that are here as part of the peaceful demonstration, I would say stand unwavering. And as we see challenges around us, it does nothing but build unity, it builds strength, and it builds community among everybody that's here.
Can I ask Paul a question? You're a trucker.
Yes.
Can you tell us in the French language why you came here? So I know there's lots of people that speak French.
Okay.
Feel free to just tell that from your heart.
Je suis pas un trucker, je suis un propriétaire d'entreprise et j'ai des camionneurs en dessous de moi. On va aux États-Unis. On a une partie des trucks qui vont aux États-Unis. Je suis 8 chauffeurs, 6 qui ne sont pas vaccinés. C'est la raison, ça c'est une raison, mais à Noël, on a discuté encore, puis ils m'ont expliqué qu'ils sont dans le truck tout seuls depuis que c'est commencé. Et puis, qui ont fait la job du début. Ils ont été aux États-Unis, ils ont été les autres au Canada, il ne faut pas que je les oublie. On fait l'Ouest canadien, aussi les maritimes. On va dans pas mal grand. Puis, quand ça allait arriver, les truck stops fermés, les chambres de bain fermées, les douches, les toilettes, même des take-out. Puis quand ça a commencé à rouvrir les take-out, les gars étaient obligés d'aller dehors à pied avant en bas du euro, jusqu'on passe en auto, là, puis commander, la porte était fermée, ils ne pouvaient pas rentrer à l'intérieur du tout. Puis ils ont fait la job, ils ont continué. Puis c'est de ça qu'on a discuté là, à Noël, là, quand on était sérieux avec ça. Puis ils m'ont tout... C'est là... Moi, j'essayais de les convaincre, puis c'est les autres qui m'ont convaincu. Puis on est au Canada, c'est le pays reconnu pour la liberté, le pays qu'on est libre, un grand pays libre. Je travaille encore, excepté que j'ai 2 chauffeurs sur 8 qui allent aux États-Unis. J'en ai 2 qui ont traversé les lignes, les journées juste avant le point final. Quand ils sont revenus au Canada, dans notre pays libre, ils sont fait envoyer chez eux pour 14 jours à la maison. S'ils étaient pognés en dehors de la maison, 1000 piastres de fine par jour. Fait que là, c'est là, moi, c'est ça. Ils me demandent pourquoi ça fait que je suis du site. C'est pour ça. Assez, c'est assez. C'est ça que je passe sur mes lives. Enough is enough. C'est assez. On a fini avec ça. On est du site, on reste site. On s'en va pas du site tant qu'on a pu. Les mandats de drop pas. C'est tout parti. C'est ça ma raison.
Thank you so
you.
much.
Jim Torma, reporting for Steel Truth. Go ahead, Elizabeth. What's your question? What advice do you have for American truckers that are organizing a convoy to Washington, D.C.? What advice do you have?
Keep it peaceful.
I would say keep it peaceful, stay united. Together, we can all rise. We've seen it happen interprovincially, nationally, internationally, globally. The movement that was started here in Canada has inspired the world to speak up. That the main message is peace and unity, and it has to stay that way to be effective and to be heard.
Are there any MPs that currently have any petitions that they've produced for signature at all that you know of?
I'm not aware of any, but I would say that a petition is too slow. What we need is phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. A million phone calls, and that's going to be very, very important over the next 48 hours. I can't, we have no idea when the Prime Minister will try to pull the trigger for a vote. And at that point, it's a real problem. I believe he has a real problem having enough votes right now. We're within 18 votes or so, we believe, of just moving people from one side to the other, and that's very, very close. That person can be persuaded, and it could be by one vote that we win. So every person needs to call as much as possible.
And is the Senate involved in this at all?
The Senate will be involved. If it passes parliamentary approval, then the Senate will then also, that becomes our second line of defense. I always say, but never count on the second line when you can win on the first, right? So first line of defense, members of parliament, then of course, if that doesn't work, we go to the Senate. But right now, it's members of parliament. That's where our focus needs to be.
I know you just say it, Paul, you just say it in French, your story. Can you say it in English as well? I think a lot of people in English side of Canada will want to hear your story as well.
Okay. What I say in French is that he asked me why I'm here in Ottawa. Since the beginning, I decided to come because at Christmas I had 8 drivers.
For traveling mostly, and the rest of the health measure is mostly for the province. Now they are talking about lifting the measure, lifting the vaccine passport, but with the condition of passing a law that they can bring it back anytime that they want. Are you going to comply to this compromise, or you will say no to that?
I don't think anyone here can speak to that on behalf of the Freedom Convoy. I think we'd be guessing as to what their bottom line is going to be, and I don't want to speak to that. I'm just seeing them being very firm, no mandates, no emergency, and there might be like loopholes that exist, and that'll be a decision of the Freedom Convoy and the other truckers that are here. But it's a very good question, but just not ours to answer, I don't think.
I'd like to add, I'd like to add about this Emergency Act in general, about, you know, from my perspective, and I've been here since day one. The city had asked for emergency lanes to be open to ensure that there was safe passage to and from the hospitals with open community. We were asked by the city to ensure that trucks stopped beeping their horns at 8 p.m. We complied as they directed. We were asked if we could move trucks out of residential areas to not, of course, they're big trucks and people are scared because they don't know really what's happening. We complied. So for every single thing that has been asked of us for the safety and the concern of our community that's been articulated through the municipalities, we've complied. You know, we have families here, we have old senior people here that have come out that are veterans, you know, all in support. So I'm really hard pressed to understand how our Prime Minister can call in the Emergency Act when he hasn't even taken the time to communicate with us, or to even take the time to, I'm assuming, explore the grounds. Because if you were here, I mean, I really don't even know how you'd explain it to anybody. It's like a winter Woodstock. You know, you've got little toddlers saying, give me a hug, and you've got veterans saying, you know, fight for your freedoms. You know, 90% last week, I don't know what the statistics are this week, 90% of crime was reduced in downtown Ottawa as a result of our presence. So I think the more of a state of emergency that we have to deal with is the breakdown of communication.
Pour accès des pompiers et des ambulances pour les hôpitaux. On a été demandé d'arrêter les klaxons, les flûtes à partir de 8h PM le soir. Ça a été fait. On a été demandé de... C'est quoi l'autre affaire? 1, 2, 3.
Bouger les camions.
The emergency lane, the horns, and the moving to residential areas.
OK. Puis ils nous ont demandé de sortir d'un coin plus résidentiel les camions, les emmener plus proche de Wellington. Ça a été fait aussi. Et puis, on a eu des demandes de la ville, on les a écoutées, on les a faites. Il y a 90% moins de crimes depuis qu'on est dans la ville. Après ça, c'est quoi? Ah oui, c'est pourquoi qu'ils demandent l'état d'urgence quand on a parlé avec la communauté, la ville, puis on respecte les personnes qui marchent. On a du support des vétérans, des personnes âgées.
Executive Director, and we're calling people to take action, to call the members of Parliament, and to reverse the invocation of the Emergency Act by the Prime Minister.
Your last name?
I'd rather not say.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm Raven from St. John's, Newfoundland. I'm here on the capacity of Raven News and Operation Hug a Trucker. I'm trying to wake up my province.
My name is Jeff, and I'm the Director of Operations and Ground Coordinations to make sure that everybody that is here, patiently waiting to be acknowledged, is kept safe, fed, warm, and happy.
I'm Paul from New Brunswick. Je suis Paul du Nouveau-Brunswick pour la partie française du Québec et du Nouveau-Brunswick. Je suis venu représenter, ça me fait plaisir.
Of all Canadians with their love, and just asking that it's not just the truckers now, that it's all of the Canadians who have joined with the truckers, and just wanted you to comment on that. It's become much more than just the truckers.
Oh, yes, absolutely. This is where we can have a chat again. I'm from, of course, Atlantic Canada, and when they were explaining about the convoy and trucks, I was like, well, we have trucks come in. We don't have a lot of trucks come out.
Quand c'est arrivé, on avait beaucoup de trucks qui sont rentrés, il n'y a pas beaucoup de trucks qui sont sortis.
Yes, so now on the east coast of Canada, there's actually a boat convoy. If you can believe that, it's starting in the next couple of days. I've heard of helicopter convoys, I've heard of horse convoys, and recently we just did a jerry can
We're having fun here in Ottawa.
Ouais.
Certainly, there's a lot of people who appreciate the leadership of the truckers, but are standing.
Did deaths all of a sudden go up real high? Are we having hospitalizations? Are people dropping like flies on the street? A serious question though, because one of the things they're saying is that we are close together and we're hugging. There must be, a massive pandemic going on right now. Can somebody say something
I would
about
just
that?
say to people, you all watched the Super Bowl last Sunday, right? There's no masking, no social distancing. There's 12 countries that put an end to the mandates. It's just common sense. Omicron is very, very quickly spreading, but it's minor. It's like a cold. The best thing we can do, it's a gift from God or nature, whatever you want to believe, is allow Omicron to create for you natural immunity, and let's get back to normal.
Yes, please.
Le monsieur il a posé une question à nous autres, que si on est tous ici pas masqués, on est tous ensemble, ils voient qu'on a on se colle, on se donne des hugs, des câlins, puis il a demandé si on a vu des personnes que le COVID, qui ont attrapé le COVID, qui ont tombé malades ou quelque chose. C'est le même dans les jeux de hockey aussi, puis dans les baseball, puis d'omelette. Puis là, c'est fini, là, c'est une grippe, c'est tout simplement ça, c'est là qu'on est rendu. Fait que, on arrête ça. Enough is enough.
Another piece of news that surprised us this morning was Ottawa Chief of Police Peter Slowly resigned. The reason given was, I believe he was a bully to his
We don't have
workers.
any comment on what's happening with the police chief. We had great communication with the municipality, and that's where our relation, that's, everything that was asked. There was no bullying from any truckers or department, so.
Any ideas what that might
Not a dust.
cause going forward?
Nope.
Be very speculative, and we don't want to speculate.
Yeah, we have no idea.
A number of people have asked about the weapons found at the Alberta border blockade, and then there's speculation of where they planted. Those are like rumors going around. Do you have any comment on that or any concerns for the convoy here?
I would think that you paint the entire global movement and the want and the desire for freedom and restoration of the rights with that same brush.
Yeah.
It's that kind of mentality, I feel, is what got us into this mess to begin with. So, I hope that people at this point are engaged, paying attention, and fully understand there's two sides to a coin, and you have to look at both sides of that coin objectively in order to formulate an opinion. Simply believing one side and one story, that's not right, and that's how we get into problems like this. And that's why we take the time to do pressers like this, to the media outlets that support us, to spread the word that it's just not the way it is being portrayed on that legacy media that everybody seems to buy into. That's one side of the coin. This is the other. Now it's up to everybody else out there to make that objective decision using critical thinking, not just to assume.
Les gens là-bas, un arme dans la voiture, c'est normal, là. Puis, mais ils n'ont jamais été dit ici qu'il était enregistré, qu'il était légal ou pas légal. Il y a eu des armes, il y avait des armes. C'est à l'autre bout du pays. Nous autres, on est ici. Ils ont essayé de passer ça sur toute la communauté des camionneurs. Puis, on le sait, c'est ça qu'ils font, c'est de la propagande pour nous faire passer mal. Puis nous autres, on fait la protestation ça avec peace and love, puis avec amour et respect. Puis c'est ça qu'il y a eu de fait jusqu'à date. Puis on ne s'attache pas avec ça, parce qu'il est arrivé là. C'est de la spéculation, puis il y a deux côtés de médaille, puis ça en est une là-bas qu'on ne sait même pas. On n'a pas d'affaires là-dedans ici. Merci.
Maybe just one more question anyone have? Are we good?
Just a question we see a lot on lives. Can any of you speak to the...
Who's who in the zoo? Well, a grassroots movement is just that. Grass is kind of like wild growing and organic, and I would have to say that this is a very organically growing group. You know, as time progresses, people will pop in and they'll bring their skill set, or they'll offer help and support from, you know, all of you fine folks that are helping us spread the word. So yeah, it is very, very organic. It's very real. It's very raw. You know, nobody here has ulterior motives. We're all here standing for our families and children, and your families and your children. You know, we support democracy. Nobody here wants to overthrow the government. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
You know, we're here fighting for the foundations that our forefathers and our charter has been put in place for. So when I say we're organic, you know, this is our country. Our country is not our government. Our government is the supports that have put in to support the people of our country. And, you know, we're upset. There's a lot of people that are upset. There's a lot of people that feel that they're God-given right. You know, I've got free hugs. You know, they're here for their families and their futures also. So, you know, we're not a corporation. We're not a group of CEOs. As you can tell, you know, we grabbed our translator Paul here, who's a fantastic person who just came for his own reasons. I came as an alternative news source. How did you end up here, Jeff?
I just want to see my kids smile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah,
We're all
that's
about
perfect.
freedom.
That's beautiful.
Get rid of the mandates, get rid of the emergencies.
Yep.
We need to go back to BC before COVID.
Yeah.
Can we hear that answer in French?
Don't miss anything.
Yeah. You won't pay me, right? Que ce qui a été dit, c'est qu'il a été demandé si que l'association, qui ce qui fait quoi, puis ce qui est quoi, comment est-ce qu'on est embarqué là-dedans, mais ça a tout venu du cœur. Moi, ma réponse en français, c'est on vient tout ici, ça vient d'ici. On est venu ici pour la cause, on est venu ici pour nos enfants, nos petits-enfants, nos arrières. Deux affaires ici. On a le pays, les gens, on a le gouvernement qui peut runner ça comme il faut. Mais, où ce qu'on est ici, on n'est pas contre notre pays, on n'est pas contre notre constitution, on n'est pas contre rien de ça. Au contraire, on est ici pour la défendre. On veut que la constitution reste là, on veut que la liberté des Canadiens revienne comme que c'était, qu'on peut voir le sourire à tout le monde, puis qu'on gagne notre point. Pas un ou l'autre, c'est pour toute la population canadienne. Conseil, un Canada uni et fort et libre. Merci.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. We'll close the live. Just quiet. Quiet until thumbs up.